Welcome to the sleepy underworld, a place where romance blooms, magic sparkles, and timeless fairy tales are reimagined for the dreamers of today. From heart-stirring romances to spellbinding adventures, every story is a soothing escape into a realm of love, wonder, and charm. So curl up, press play, and let us carry you away to the land of dreams. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. We'd love to know in what part of the world you are watching and what is your favorite tip for a good night's sleep. Thank you for watching and enjoy the video. The desert night wrapped around me like a lover's caress as I scaled the palace walls, each ancient stone whispering secrets against my fingertips. Below, Zafira sprawled in glittering darkness, amber lanterns bleeding light into shadows thick enough to drown in. The air tasted of cardamom and danger, saffron and sin. Every breath carried my mother's ghost stories about djinn, who danced in dust devils and granted wishes to fools brave enough to ask. I am Nadir, son of a traitor, king of Zafira's shadows. The nobles spat thief like a curse, but I preferred liberator of misplaced treasures. My hands bore the geography of survival, calluses mapping close escapes, scars charting calculated risks. Tonight's prize waited in forbidden ruins beyond the city walls, but first I needed information from someone who'd rather watch me bleed out in these very streets. Lord Karim's study lay beyond the ornate window above me, stained glass casting jewel-toned shadows across my skin like war paint. 3 days ago, the silk-wrapped snake had cornered me in the merchant quarter's twisted alleys, his perfumed threats sharper than any blade. Find the artifact in the ruins, or watch your father's crimes spill from my lips to the Sultan's ear. My father could rot for all I cared. The bastard had earned whatever hell awaited him. But Karim's knowledge threatened my carefully woven network of debts and favors, the spider's web that kept me breathing in this unforgiving city. Each step toward that window pulled the noose tighter around my throat. The window latch surrendered to my picks with a whisper that might as well have been a scream in the stillness. Moonlight filtered through latticed screens, painting silver lace across scrolls and ancient texts. The room reeked of ink and aging parchment, but underneath lurked something older, something that raised every hair on my neck and set my teeth on edge. I moved like smoke across the intricate carpet, soft leather boots finding purchase between the patterns. My breath caught as a door creaked, sharp as breaking bones in the quiet. I melted behind heavy curtains that smelled of dust and secrets, my lungs burning as I held my breath. Through the gauzy fabric, I watched Lord Karim enter, but he wasn't alone. The woman who followed, Christ's blood. Her feet didn't touch the ground. Starlight caught in her hair like trapped constellations, and power radiated from her skin in waves that made my bones ache with longing. The thief retrieves it tonight, Karim said, satisfaction dripping from his voice like honey from a blade. Moonlight caught his rings, each gem worth more than most earned in a lifetime. Once he brings the veil, we begin. The floating woman's laugh chimed like crystal shattering in reverse, beautiful and terrible. Careful, my lord. Some prizes burn those who grasp them too eagerly. Her voice carried echoes of windswept dunes and star-drunk nights, and something deep in my chest responded like a struck chord. They drifted deeper into the palace, their words fading, but I had what I needed. A veil waited in those ruins, one that made ethereal beings take notice. Destiny coated my tongue, sweet as stolen honey and twice as dangerous. The desert beyond Zafira's walls knew my secrets, like a lover knows scars. Sand shifted beneath my feet, like liquid silver as I navigated dunes that glowed under the full moon's hungry eye. The ruins rose from the wasteland, like the skeleton of some primordial beast. Black stone columns stretching toward stars close enough to taste. Power thrummed through the air, setting my skin ablaze with anticipation. The entrance to the underground chamber lay half buried, the stone steps worn smooth by centuries of the desert wind's caress. Each step down felt like descending into another world. The air thickened with age and magic, walls gleaming with embedded crystals that cast light in patterns that hurt to look at directly. Silence pressed against my ears like cotton soaked in blood, broken only by my ragged breathing and the skitter of things better left unseen. The veil lay in the deepest chamber, the silk wrapping crumbling at my touch like ancient flower petals. Starlight had been woven into its fabric. Constellations I recognized from my mother's teachings dancing across the surface in patterns that shifted when I blinked. The moment my fingers brushed the silk, the world exploded. Light tasted like lightning, smelled like the space between stars, burned like the first touch of a lover's mouth. She emerged from the radiance like flame taking human form, and the air itself bowed to her presence. Hair dark as the void between constellations flowed around her like liquid night. Her eyes held centuries of wisdom, pools of molten gold that saw straight through flesh to the trembling soul beneath. Gold bangles adorned her wrists, but these weren't jewelry. They were bonds that pulsed with their own inner fire. Her skin glowed with a radiance that cast shadows in shades I had no names for. At last, the words tumbled from her lips like a blessing and curse combined. Her voice carried notes of singing sand and windswept eternity, and something low in my belly clenched in response. I am Aisha, djinni of the celestial court, weaver of destinies, and you, Nadir the thief, have set me free. Every story warned about the dangers of dealing with jinn. Every rational thought screamed at me to run. Instead, I found myself drawn closer, caught in her gravity like a moth to a flame. The space between us crackled with an energy that made my skin sing and my breath catch. 3 boons I offer, she continued, moving with a fluid grace that made her seem to float rather than walk. Each step brought waves of her intoxicating scent, starfire and desert roses, ancient magic and infinite possibility. 3 chances to rewrite the story fate carved into your bones. Choose wisely, for every wish bears a price that burns. Her nearness made my head spin, my senses overwhelmed by her otherworldly presence. Heat radiated from her skin like fever, and I found myself wondering what those full lips would taste like. What do you gain from this arrangement? A smile curved her mouth, mysterious as moonrise. She circled me slowly, her movement stirring air that tasted of honey and lightning. Perhaps I enjoy watching mortals dance with destiny. Her fingertips brushed my shoulder as she passed, leaving trails of fire in their wake. Or perhaps your choices will write a story neither of us can imagine. The touch sent lightning through my veins, and I had to clench my fists to keep from reaching for her. That night marked the beginning of my salvation and damnation. My first wish formed on my lips like a prayer, heavy with consequence. I wish for the means to expose Lord Kareem's darkest secrets. Aisha's eyes flashed like distant lightning. She raised her hands, the gold bangles chiming like temple bells, and the air filled with dancing lights that coalesced into images, secret meetings in shadowed corners, scrolls hidden behind false walls, coins passing between trembling hands. Each scene burned itself into my mind with crystalline clarity. "Be careful, little thief," she murmured, her fingers brushing my cheek with an electric touch that left trails of starlight on my skin. The contact sent heat racing through my blood like wildfire. Knowledge cuts both ways. Lord Kareem's fall from grace sent shockwaves through Zafira's nobility. But Aisha's price revealed itself in my dreams. Nightmares filled with celestial fire that burned cold as winter. Voices speaking in tongues that made my ears bleed. Each morning, I woke to find star marks spreading across my skin, like slow-burning constellations. Each point of light, a reminder of the power coursing through my veins. Aisha stayed with me through those dawn hours when nightmares faded, though she could have vanished into the desert winds. Her presence beside me felt like sunlight breaking through storm clouds, her touch cooling the burn of transformation. We spent nights on rooftops where the city's heat rose like invisible incense, and she taught me the true names of stars in a language that tasted like stardust. Her laughter made my heart race like a hunted thing, and when our eyes met across crowded markets, the world held its breath. Each accidental touch sent sparks dancing across my skin, adjusting her veil, reaching for the same object, standing close enough that her otherworldly warmth seeped into my bones like wine. I found myself creating excuses to be near her, craving her presence like an addict craves his poison. My second boon went toward protecting those I loved, the street children who served as my eyes and ears, the merchants who helped me fence stolen goods, the elderly couple who'd taken me in after my mother's death. Aisha's magic wove golden threads of protection around them, shimmering in my enhanced vision like morning sunlight on spider silk. But the price was steep. Each person I protected became bound to a prophecy I didn't yet understand, their fates intertwining with mine like threads in an enormous tapestry. The mortal and celestial realms were never meant to touch so closely, Aisha explained one night, as we lay among silk cushions on my hidden rooftop sanctuary. Stars wheeled overhead like scattered diamonds, and her head rested on my chest as if she could hear the way my heart beat in time with her magic. The weight of her, the warmth, it was driving me slowly mad with want. Every time they do, fate demands rebalancing. I traced the patterns of her binding marks, which had begun to fade like old guilt. Her skin felt like moonlight made solid beneath my fingertips, and I had to fight the urge to explore every inch of her with hands and mouth. What happens when they fade completely? Her eyes met mine, ancient sadness swirling in their golden depths. Then I must return to the celestial courts unless... Unless? The word came out rougher than intended, betraying the hunger building in my chest. Unless a mortal soul freely offers to take my place. Her fingers brushed my star-marked skin, sending shivers of pleasure and power through my body. The prophecy speaks of a thief marked by stars who will either bind the realms together or tear them apart forever. Understanding hit like a physical blow. I'm not just your liberator. I'm your replacement. She pulled away, the silk cushions whispering beneath her movement, but I caught her hand. The contact sent sparks of celestial fire dancing between our joined fingers, illuminating the darkness with miniature constellations. No, she whispered, her voice carrying notes of stardust and sorrow. I chose you because, in all my centuries of watching mortals, I've never seen a heart that burns as brightly as yours. The truth of her words resonated in my chest like a struck bell. I drew her back to me, my free hand cupping her face. Her skin felt impossibly smooth, cool, and warm at once. Then trust in that heart now. The kiss was inevitable as sunrise, her lips soft as rose petals but demanding as desert wind. She tasted of starlight and honey, of ancient magic and infinite possibility. When her tongue met mine, heat exploded through my veins like liquid gold. Her hands fisted in my hair, pulling me closer as I mapped the curve of her waist, the silk of her skin. We broke apart, gasping, our foreheads pressed together as power crackled between us like visible lightning. Dark forces gathered as my star marks spread across my skin like blooming night flowers. Shadows whispered of beings crossing from the celestial realm. Ancient djinn who moved like oil on water and wanted Aisha returned to her bonds. Their presence turned the air thick and cold, making each breath a struggle. We ran through Zafira's labyrinthine streets, where fear mixed with night-blooming jasmine. My knowledge of the city's secrets became our shield. Hidden courtyards where fountains sang midnight lullabies, abandoned towers where desert winds played ethereal melodies, secret gardens where magic still lingered in soil centuries old. Each close escape brought us closer until I couldn't imagine existing without her starlight beside me. In quiet moments between running and hiding, we shared stories like trading precious gems. She spoke of celestial courts, where constellations danced and stars were born in breathtaking explosions of light. I told her of my mother's final days, when she hallucinated celestial beings dancing in corners, their voices calling her home. Between words, we touched, our fingers intertwining, our shoulders brushing, her head on my chest as we caught our breath. Each contact sent heat spiraling through me, building toward something that felt like destiny itself. The final boon hung between us, heavy with consequence. I could wish us both free of the prophecy, but the price would devastate both realms. I saw it in my dreams, worlds tearing apart like wet paper. I could wish her bound to the mortal world forever, but that meant trapping a being of starfire and flesh, watching her light dim like a captive star. The choice was taken from me the night the shadow djinn found us. They rose from darkness like smoke given form, their voices harmonizing in tones that made my bones vibrate and my star marks burn like brands. The air grew thick with their power, tasting of ash and endless void. Aisha stood proud before them in our hidden sanctuary, her power flickering like a candle flame refusing to be extinguished. Starlight gathered around her like armor, and despite everything, my breath caught at her fierce beauty, eternal as the desert itself. "Your time ends, sister," one shadow said, the voice like silk sliding over steel. "Balance must be maintained." I stepped between them, my star marks blazing with light that pushed back the darkness. Power surged through my veins, burning away my fear and doubt. There are other ways to maintain balance. Understanding dawned in Aisha's eyes, golden as first light. "Nadir, don't..." I spoke my final wish into existence, each word carrying destiny's weight. I wish for the power to choose my own fate. Magic exploded through the chamber like a star being born. My star marks burned like live coals, each point of light a window to infinity. Ancient power rushed through me, not just celestial fire, but something new, born of my mortal heart and an immortal soul, of human love and divine power. The shadow djinn recoiled as light poured from my body in waves. I reached for Aisha with hands that sparkled like the night sky, completion singing in my blood. "I choose this," I said, my voice carrying echoes of both worlds. "Not as your replacement, but as your equal." Our kiss tasted of stardust and prophecy fulfilled. Power flowed between us like water finding its level, transforming rather than transferring. My mortality mixed with her celestial fire until we became something entirely new. Beings of twilight, walkers between realms. Where our lips met, new stars were born. The shadow djinn bowed before this new magic, recognizing that balance could be found in transformation rather than separation. As they faded like mist before dawn, I pulled Aisha closer, reveling in how our energies danced and merged. "Was this your plan all along?" I asked, watching starlight play across her skin like dancing flames. She smiled, and it held all the mystery of desert night and all the warmth of summer dawn. "I planned to free myself. I never planned to fall in love." We rule the twilight hours now, moving between realms as easily as crossing market streets. The star marks on my skin have become a map of our journey, each point of light a reminder of choices made and prices paid, of love freely given and destiny embraced. Aisha's binding marks have transformed into patterns that match my own, linking us in ways deeper than magic, more eternal than fate. Each night, we dance between starlight and shadow, our powers entwined like lovers' hands. We watch over both realms, helping others find paths between what is and what could be. The desert winds carry our story to those who know how to listen. A tale of a thief who stole a djinni's heart, and a djinni who taught a mortal to touch the stars. In the end, it wasn't power or prophecy that rewrote our destinies. It was love, freely given and freely returned. Each kiss still tastes of starlight. Each touch still sends sparks of magic dancing across our skin. We are one another's greatest wish, greatest risk, and greatest reward. And in the desert night, where magic whispers through ancient stones and starlight weaves patterns of possibility, we continue writing our story. One that proves the greatest power lies not in what we wish for, but in what we choose to become.